Having a good-sized bank account, Howard Stern has very little in common with me. Howard has a great personality, but if both of us ever had a stroke and we both lose the power of speech, I could still walk into any bar in America and still have a better chance of getting laid than Howard. Sorry, big guy.
I don't know, but maybe he's right. So what? Is getting laid everything, man?
If you listen to this show, you'd think it was.
It really is, actually.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the whole damn world's about. Marcia Clark has written a book without a doubt. Thank God people write books, or otherwise we'd never get any cool guests.
Yeah, they have to come out to see us.
They have to come to see us. Well, there's Marcia. Hi, how you doing? Oh, you are cute. I always dug you. That's why I watched the trial for you.
For me.
Yeah, for you.
And somehow I knew that.
You did know it. Did you?
No, I didn't know that.
You did know it. You were aware of it the whole time, I bet.
No, you know what I wasn't. But
Wait.
really funny?
Yeah, sorry. I have to put on a microphone. I was busy checking around. Yeah, I was busy checking you out. I didn't have time to turn on the microphone.
I was
I'm sorry.
wondering why I
Sorry about
couldn't
that.
hear her.
I'm not your type, though, right?
Why?
Really?
Who said not?
I don't know. You seem a little more sophisticated and too intelligent for me.
Oh, yeah,
You know
right.
what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
So how you
isn't
doing?
I'll be doing better in a couple days.
Why? What's the matter?
The book tour.
It's wearing on you?
Oh, my God.
Well, I see on Oprah. Oprah
Yeah.
was kissing your ass pretty good. I thought she treated you pretty nice.
Oprah was great. I mean, I really had fun. What was really funny about it is we're sitting there in front of an audience of how many, and it felt like we were just hanging and talking. It was wonderful.
It went easy.
Yeah, very easy.
Yeah.
Very easy. She's easy to talk to.
Yeah, well, so anyway, so here's my rap. First of all, yes, you are a very good attorney. I told this to Chris Darden, too. You guys got pretty well beat up, and they were like, well, hey, man, how could you not convict O.J.? It had nothing to do with whether you were a good attorney or not. So you've heard me say that before. You are a real good attorney.
Thank
you handled
you.
yourself beautifully in the courtroom. I watched this case. Look, I'm no attorney, but I've got a reasonable amount of intelligence. There was so much evidence presented.
The rest of the country had him convicted.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to figure. You only missed out with 12 people.
Yeah. But don't you- do you agree with me?
There you are, Robin.
Hi,
Yeah.
how are you?
Oh, yeah. I really do.
Gil Garcetti, why it was supposedly the trial was supposed to be in a white area or something, right?
Well,
Wasn't
the
it supposed-
jury pool could have come from a different area.
Right.
Yeah, the jury pool, what they were saying was that we should, file it in Santa Monica because that's where the crime occurred. But the criminal court judges had a firmly entrenched policy at the time that all cases that took longer than a month had to be filed and had to be tried downtown.
Right.
So that's where we were going to wind up no matter where we filed the case, and that's a fact. But the other truth of the matter is that particular pool was not representative. I've been trying cases downtown for 10 years in front of predominantly African-American juries with a lot of predominantly African-American defendants and getting convictions.
Right.
So, you can't tell me that this is all about race, and just because that jury pool was African-American, we didn't succeed with them.
Yeah,
A
but
lot
you
of
see,
it is
when a case is that high profile, and all of a sudden if you're a black guy or woman living in a black community, and this thing's all over TV, and every black person is telling you OJ's innocent, and even though you've got to be somehow aware of that when you go in for this whole thing, you don't want to be the one guy to go back to your community and be the one that put OJ away.
Yeah.
You don't, and that's it. And then the case is closed. I don't care.
can't tell you how many
Right.
times
That's really true.
Yeah, who would
I
want
got into
I wouldn't want to go into a black
cabs
community and be
in
that guy.
New York City.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like the only black person besides Christopher Darden who was saying that OJ was guilty.
Yep.
And people would say to me in the cab driver would turn around and whisper, there's only the two of us.
Right.
They would say, I think he's guilty too.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Right.
It was
But I
embarrassing.
can't say it.
Right. It's funny you should say that, Robin. I saw the same phenomenon. Actually, I still see it now. They come up to me and they'll tell me, you really did a good job, and like the wink and nod,
Uh-huh.
Right.
And I know what they mean, but it's like not politically correct
Right.
to go back to and go say it in public.
Right.
So you don't see that happening. And I do understand it. Too few minorities make it that big. They don't want to take part in dismantling somebody who finally has,
That's
for God's
weird.
sake,
I don't know. That's
I
just
don't know.
weird. I don't get it.
I don't feel
I'll
that
just-
way about OJ.
I can't
No,
figure
I
it
know
out.
that-
But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's
But
the
that's
truth.
the sentiment we
Yeah.
had on the jury. No, I'm not saying that you do. There's no
Oh,
such thing,
absolutely. I understand.
So did OJ flirt with you at all? Did he try to sort of get sexy with you a little bit? And
No.
he didn't.
No.
Yeah, he would have kicked him in the nuts. Right.
I mean, I wouldn't have bothered to get that close. I don't ever have anything to do with defendants. I mean,
I was
there's
going to say,
an
do you
error on here
ever get to talk to him at all?
No, I never have any really desire to. I mean,
Judge,
he's represented by a lawyer, and that's he belongs over there. I don't like to mess with defendants. I think it's too much bullying. It's bad enough that they're in court. They're facing, criminal charges.
Right.
And so I don't mess with him.
Right.
But, he would definitely make an effort to be charming.
Yeah, well, he's
And
a charming
when
guy.
we
I know
talk-
him.
You do?
Yeah, well, on the back of my book, I have
Howard
a picture.
dated him.
I dated him. I was at the... OJ used to sit on the board of this company.
That's right.
So I met OJ once. We were on the radio. He was walking through the halls, and I got to say, he was like one of the most charming, like the nicest guy, like a guy's guy, you know, palling around. And then when we were at the Trump wedding, he was just like Mr. Charming.
Yeah.
He was making out with Tony Katane in front of me, and I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, dude, what are you doing?" And he goes,
well, actually, you tried to introduce him.
Yeah, I said, "This is Tony Katane," and he goes, "Oh, I know her." And he starts making out with her there, and he goes, "She's we're high school buddies or something."
Right.
I don't know. It was just, but I mean, he charmed the pants off of everybody.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it was amazing to me that when this whole thing came down, I mean, everyone knew he was guilty and everything. The guy I got really pissed off at, I don't know if you know about this, during the trial when Cato Kalin, when you had him on the stand, the guy's a ditz, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's actually not a ditz. That
He's
was
not?
the act. Oh, that was the act.
Oh, you think that's an act?
Oh, yeah.
I think he's an airhead.
Yeah. Well, you know, wait. On what level? He was smart enough to testify coherently had he wanted to.
Right.
Definitely smart enough to do that. But he put on the Surfer Boy Act so that he could make a reasonable justification for acting like I don't know, man. That was a way to be nice to OJ, and that was not because he was really that dumb.
After you had him on the stand, I called him up on the radio, and I said to him, "Man, you are a pussy." I said, "You march your ass back down to that courtroom and go in like a man and give your true testimony." And he wouldn't do it. So when did he wake up? He wakes up during the
After
civil
the
trial.
trial.
Right. But he wakes up during the civil trial and claims that the reason that he didn't testify by talking in complete sentences, in my case, is because I intimidated him. Excuse
Yes,
me?
you were scary.
Oh, but you know what? Get a life.
You're
Get a
scary?
life. Me? Are you kidding?
You
I
are
was
so ultra femme. I mean, come on. There is nothing threatening about you.
Thank you very much, Howard.
Absolutely not.
But I got to tell you something. I
Yes.
begged, I groveled, I plied him with pretzels and spark, whatever I had in my office.
Yeah.
And he had a lawyer at his elbow through every interview.
Right.
And he's telling me I intimidated him. Excuse me?
He's full of crap. And as a matter of fact, you point out in your book that Paula Barbieri, OJ's girlfriend, was totally uncooperative. Did you know this?
No, I
Yeah.
didn't.
Because Marcia was trying to find, she's just trying to find out any information she can. So what was with Paula Barbieri? She wouldn't even call you back?
She wouldn't return phone calls. Finally, we subpoenaed her to the grand jury. Chris did
Yeah.
in the course of the Al Cowlings investigation.
Right.
And she denied that she was even his girlfriend or wouldn't even admit that much.
Why was Al Cowlings not called up on the stand? I mean, here is a guy who basically was with OJ and was palling around with him, driving him that day.
He drove him in the Bronco.
Where OJ was supposedly going to commit suicide, which we all know he's a coward. He wasn't going to commit any suicide.
Right. No way.
Yeah.
No, we couldn't. He had the Fifth Amendment right not to testify, and his charges were still pending, potentially for aiding and abetting an escape.
So many goddamn rights.
Yeah.
Sick of it. How can I prosecute this case?
When somebody commits a crime against you, you lose all your rights and they get all theirs.
Well, quite frankly, though, the truth of the matter is A.C. Cowlings really wasn't needed. Enough evidence was presented.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about Kardashian? All of a sudden, he declared himself a lawyer. He sort of got reinstated so that he wouldn't have to testify?
Yeah, actually, what was really interesting about him is that he was not a lawyer as of the time of the escape, and I believe that he only reactivated his bar card after that. So if we were jockeying for position over that one to determine whether or not he could really claim a lawyer-client privilege.
Remember
and
when
he's another guy who changed his story after the trial. He now believes OJ's guilty.
Yeah. Do you think that Kardashian? Remember when he kind of like walked out with that big duffel bag of stuff, and the cops just let him walk right by without looking in the duffel bag?
Yeah.
What do you think was in that duffel bag?
I really don't think there was anything in there, to tell you the truth.
Oh, you don't?
No, I really don't. I think, number one, that the murder weapon, he discarded that before he even got back to Rockingham that night. And that's so easy to do. You can see, down
throw it
the
anywhere.
drain.
Yeah.
That's right. Why mess with that? Then the clothing, we know, in my book, I told you what happened to that. So the only thing that I'm not sure about is the Bruno Mali shoes, where they went.
Right.
And probably they were still in the house. And his lawyers were there on June 13th after the police, released him to go home, and he dumped everything.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, but there was more than enough evidence. So what's the difference? It doesn't make it. Maybe OJ was the payback for Rodney King. I don't know. Maybe that was it.
One of the jurors was reported as having said that.
I know.
Yeah, and I believe that when the verdict came down, it went through my mind. It's payback time. Now, I don't think that was true probably for all of the jurors, but some of them probably had it on their mind.
You think OJ was high when he killed Ron and Nicole?
No.
You don't?
No, I really don't.
So you
As a
think
matter
all
of fact, no, we didn't have any evidence to indicate, and we had his blood tested, don't forget.
Right.
There was nothing to indicate that he was under the influence at the time.
Yeah, because you said even that he never... Remember when he took Cato out for hamburgers that night?
Right.
You say in your book that you think that he was just establishing an alibi or trying to establish one, right?
Yeah, absolutely. absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that Cato screwed him up.
Yeah.
You know, he went out. Look at the logic of this. He goes out to Cato and he says, "Look, I need to get change. I need some fives for a sky cap. I only have $100 bill or something like that."
Yeah.
And he goes to Cato and asks him for it. He says, "I'm going to go out and get something to eat." Now, wait a minute. Why do you need change from Cato if you're going out to get something to eat? You can get it then, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So he's trying to establish that. And Cato even said he never used to take me out for burgers.
Right, that
They
was an
never went
unusual
anywhere
thing,
together.
yeah.
Right,
No,
yeah.
they never. It was the first time. As a matter of fact, on that particular day, Cato sees him like 4 times during the day and ordinarily never saw him. So
Yeah, that's weird.
But my whole thing always was, you know, if you start to bleed because you've cut your hand, you don't drip it all the way through your house on
Right.
white carpeting. You
Yeah.
stop it
Right.
before you go in.
right.
So now why the
Right.
now
Unless you're
Right.
running away from a murder.
In which case, of course, it makes sense,
Yeah.
right? You know.
now, Marcia, why all the wall of silence about your love affair with Christopher Darden? Why? I want to know every detail.
You know, it's really funny. I had a bet with myself as
Yes.
to whether or not you're going to go
well,
there.
of course. I asked Chris about it.
Of course you did.
We talked in the men's room afterwards. Says you're really good.
What did
Yeah,
you say?
No, but seriously, in the book, was there pressure for you to write about that? I mean, did the publisher say to you, "Hey, why don't you write about how you fell in love with Chris Darden during the thing?" And by the way, it's perfectly understandable.
How do you know she fell in love?
She did.
You're making a lot of assumptions.
All right,
Maybe it was just
really,
hot
man.
Randy says.
It's true. It's true. Chris
Wait, are those my only
Chris
two
doesn't.
options?
Chris doesn't even have that great a personality. You're right. You probably weren't in love with him. You probably just needed some. You needed to blow off some steam. Is that
They
right?
were locked up for several hours every day.
Let me tell you something. If
No
I,
one else to talk to.
Marcia, if I was
really
in.
enjoy the fact that I'm only given 2 options here. You know, either in love or hot
But if you
random
were-
sex. There's nothing else.
No, but there's nothing wrong with it. I mean,
I figure it's that desert island thing.
although a lot of white guys, not me, can't handle it when a beautiful white woman is with a black guy. I can handle it. I can handle that.
You're down with that.
I'm down with
You're
that.
down with
I don't
that.
think it's any big. I can understand it. You know what I'm saying?
No, as I said in the book,
Right.
we were closer than lovers. We were trench mates. We really were.
When you're involved, like,
Don't you love
listen,
that line?
even
You have
when-
to admit you love that line.
it's okay.
a good
It's not a great line.
Howard and
All
I are
right,
closer
good.
than
Yeah, believe me, Robin and I have never fallen into any trench. But although Robin does give like all kinds of anal sex to strangers, but to me, he doesn't give me anything.
Wait,
What's up with
I
that?
can't do
What's up with that? Okay.
It's not something you do
Wait a
with
minute.
people you know.
But don't
Right.
I get to ask about you and Robin? I mean, after all, you guys are, awfully close.
Has Judge Ito fallen off the face of the earth, or what? I mean,
Let's
Still trying
hope.
cases. Still trying cases.
worst
yeah.
worst judge in the world, maybe.
Well, for this particular case, I mean, it was a question of a mismatch. I don't know that he would have been so bad in a regular case, but this was a judge that was particularly sensitive to celebrity and the
Yeah.
limelight and the public
He
image.
certainly was.
I have never seen a guy more enamored with
Yeah.
the camera
Yeah.
than Judge Ito.
And then all the, celebrity cachet. He's having people come and entertain the jury.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's inviting Larry King to come to his office.
Yeah, I forgot about that entertaining the jury thing, Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another gem.
How long does the average murder trial take? A real murder trial.
Yeah, a real murder trial, even real ones, and I've had ones as long as 2 years,
Yep.
9 months. I mean, it's not the length of the trial. Actually, unfortunately, sadly, is not that unique, and that's something that in LA they're trying to change. That's why we have the long cause courts. That's
Right.
why the whole business about filing downtown, because when the cases were taking a long time, the point was to get it to a court that would be devoted only to that trial, so that it would go faster.
Right.
Theoretically, you don't have
It's
another calendar
ridiculous.
to call. Right? It's ridiculous.
Do you hate Little Barry Shack? Ugh, annoying,
He
right?
does make me kind of ill. I
Yeah.
have to say. I think what
Is he
really-
repulsive? He's repulsive.
Yeah,
He is.
obnoxious.
He is.
He's pretty
Yeah.
obnoxious. The thing about him is that, he is intelligent, but I found him to be completely unscrupulous,
Right.
And he got up and argued the most ridiculous fairy tale nonsense I've heard in a long, long time.
But why
No
not?
evidence. Why not? Right. in
Why
that
not? You
case-
got a
With
wacky
that
jury. Why not?
jury, it was
That's right.
good.
See, and that's the point. An ordinary jury would have looked at him and said, "What the heck are you talking
Did
about?"
you want to
History.
kick? Did you want to kick F. Lee Bailey in the nuts? I mean, honestly,
You know,
he
no.
annoys. Really, you like
Does he
him?
annoy you?
Oh,
Does he?
please. Oh, so annoying. Who would hire him as a lawyer?
Yeah.
He's an obnoxious character.
Well,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, look, let's face it. The whole dream team, was pretty.
That's
pretty
true.
up there on the obnoxious scale,
Yeah.
But
you know what really, the thing that really got me was when Cochran shows up with that little cross on his lapel the day he's addressing the jury with closing arguments.
He knew who he was working.
And he starts
did.
to, he
Yeah.
becomes
He
a
did.
Yeah.
minister.
Exactly.
Yeah, he knew who he was working.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
you know
it
what?
was just
And he worked him every day, Howard. You're absolutely right. I mean, he had it pegged from day one.
You can't blame him.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Might as well
And
do
what
it.
else did he have?
You know,
Right.
I have to tell you something. I mean, a lot of defense attorneys would argue that he would have been incompetent not to play the race card given the situation, the evidence so compelling.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's the only way he's got
Right.
to go.
Do whatever you can.
And I don't really know that I have subscribed to that, although I do understand it. The problem I have is that it's up to the judge to put the brakes on.
Yeah.
Every defense attorney pushes the edge of the envelope.
Right, and it's up to the
Well,
judge to go
other
get to the
thing that
point.
I was going
Exactly.
to point
Right.
out
Right.
was the delay of trial for the Rosa Lopez testimony on videotape that is never used by the defense.
Exactly. That's got to be, one of the standout points is that he would actually stop the trial to do that at the defense behest when the showing for her unavailability was so thin and so obviously hands put together like the way it was, slapped together. It was nonsense. We even impeached her on it. Chris showed that she didn't really have reservations when she claimed she did. But at that point, I think if I was the judge, I'd say, you know what, that'll be about enough of this nonsense. Bring the jury back in and get her out of here.
Marcia Clark is signing books today.
Yeah.
Marcia Clark is signing books today at Waterstones in Boston on Newbury Street at 4 p.m. and at Sam's Club in Plano, Texas on Friday at 5 p.m. Is that Plano or Plano?
Plano.
What the hell do I know? I don't go out there. I've got a warrant out for my arrest in
You
Texas.
can't go to Texas.
I can't go to Texas with you, so don't invite me. So, so let's get down to Marcia Clark, the woman. All right. Now, obviously, you were in a pressure cooker situation.
I'm not a woman, Howard.
Now, when you had the curly hair, I said every day on the air, that's just a bad perm. I said, she's got to get rid of that. And when you came into the courthouse, like Judge Ito, I was very, very aroused. I mean, he was even shocked, right? I mean, it really made a big difference, didn't it?
You don't know. On that one particular day, he made a deal of it.
But come on, that was some makeover all of a sudden, right?
What makeover?
No, I mean, you changed your hair and all of a sudden you became like a sex pot.
Like women never do that.
No, but come on.
Robin, help me here. Robin, please.
Women never change their hair.
I watched the rest of the trial with my pants down. It was unbelievable. No, I mean, I thought it just shows you how important hair is. That's why I keep mine long. Never mind a woman.
So, you have great hair.
Oh, thank you very much.
Really
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's not fair, Robin. Have you ever noticed how men have the best hair?
I know.
And eyelashes, and it's sickening. It's like one of
and
those
we have to work. We get the mascara and the whole thing.
It's really disgusting. It's not a fair thing. I don't want to go there. But I got to say, Howard, it was really funny during the trial. People saying you got to listen to what Howard Stern is saying.
Right.
He's really saying nice things. Oh, really? So I turn it on. The first thing I hear you say, she looks like she had chemotherapy. Wait,
they all fixed
my
up.
supporter. I'm in trouble.
Did I say that? Yeah, you mentioned that in the book. That's funny.
It was funny.
So here you are in the pressure cooker situation, and that was weird with your husband, your ex-husband during the whole trial. The custody. I mean, I even defended you on that one because that was ridiculous. Of course you had to go to work every day. It was a bad time for him to hit you with that.
Yeah.
That's all resolved?
I can't talk about it. It's under confidentiality order. It's still pending.
Really? Oh, you still have that whole thing going on with your ex-husband?
Yeah.
He's trying for custody of the kid and you and...
I can't talk about it.
Really?
I'm sorry.
Well, this sounds good.
I know.
You know what? And that'll drag on longer than the OJ case. Trust me on that.
Yeah, I know.
That will go on and on and on.
College,
yeah, your kid will be in college by the time that's resolved. So,
still be fighting about custody. Kids have moved to Asia.
You're in a pressure cooker situation. You were becoming very famous, and obviously, you needed a man in your life. A lot of women do. A lot of women who are very vital.
Who was there?
And Chris Darden was around, right? I mean, really, who could you date? You couldn't trust anyone at that point, true? I mean, you couldn't have gone out on dates.
I have to tell you, that was true. I mean, that was true in a general sense, not just a dating sense.
Right.
There was no one that we could trust. You never knew who was going to go and tell stories about you to the tabloid.
Right.
You just didn't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they'd be cool about it, but maybe they wouldn't.
Could end up like Frank Gifford.
And the other thing, one of the... stop it.
Well, you could have been in a hotel with a guy with a camera.
The thing that that you were a prosecutor for the county of Los Angeles. You don't make tons of money. You don't live in a gated community.
Nothing worse than being famous with no money.
There you go.
Yes.
It is the worst. And, I heard that you were talking about that, Howard. I don't think anybody else really nailed it as well as you did. I mean, the worst thing that you could possibly be in is a situation where you've gotten to be very well known and becoming a public figure without the money to take care of yourself and take care of the problems that go along with it.
Because you literally can't leave the house.
That's right. You can't leave the house.
Right. And you're in a neighborhood with where anyone can drive up to the house and just, sort of come visit you.
You know exactly what it is. And, of course, with children in the house, it was doubly scary. So I'm at work, I'm in court, and the media and the tabloids are sitting literally on my front doorstep, banging on the windows, banging on the doors.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's scared.
They were making you nuts.
Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah, some guy sent us a videotape. He was some kid, one of our listeners was out on your lawn, and he was banging on your car window, and you just got out of the car and you started, hey, listen, you effer.
Right.
I'm going to kick your ass. Can I kick this guy's ass? It was like one of the great all-time tapes. And I just said, oh, man, this is insane. It's like a three-ring circus. What is it?
I think, actually, what made that worse is I think that was the day that the verdict was coming down.
Yeah, right. The guy, yeah.
Actually, what happened was it was Channel 9, and it was the day of the verdict, and I was taking my children to school.
Right.
And we're out in the driveway. The guy is standing on my driveway.
Right.
Pointing the camera right at us, and I mean, with me it's one thing, but when the children are around, I mean, then I really get crazy.
Right.
And I mean, I couldn't believe he was doing that. I couldn't believe you went this far. This is ridiculous.
You're not used to that.
No.
And the point is, like, you've been on high-profile cases. Very few people know this. If you read Marcia Clark's book, she was actually the prosecutor on the Rebecca Schaefer case.
Mm-hmm.
True? The one, the young actress who was stabbed by that maniac?
Right.
Shot by him.
Yeah. Oh, that was right. Shot by
stalker.
him. Yeah, and you got that guy put away.
Yeah, he had life without parole.
Yeah.
The problem, is that nobody had ever had an experience like this. There's never been like this kind of media attention. And we were used to having a situation where the cameras would show up to follow the case a little bit, ask about your professional history, and that was that. And, you can handle that.
Yeah,
It's
no big deal.
Right, the cameras go away, they come back for the verdict, that's fine. No one had ever seen anything like this before, where the prosecutors themselves became tabloid fodder.
Yeah.
Not only the prosecutors, it was like even the people covering, like who's that Yenta on CNN, the woman with the long hair? Now she has her own TV show. Even
Oh,
the-
yes, that, what's her name?
Yeah, and she would get on and go, well, if I was the prosecutor, I'd be doing this. And I go, no, we wouldn't be doing anything
I hated
differently.
her the whole time
I hate
the trial
her.
was
Yeah.
going
Greta
on.
Van Susteren.
Yeah, she always sided with the defense.
Yeah.
I know. And
She needs a makeover.
Oh, I'm telling you.
So anyway, here's the scenario I dream up, okay?
Okay.
All right. So you're working late hours, obviously, during the OJ trial. It's obviously a pressure cooker situation. One night you and Chris are sitting there working. And you order in some Chinese food, all right?
I thought they just had chinks.
Chinks. No, you order in some Chinese food, and you both reach for like the same egg roll, and bingo, you're both nude.
There you go.
Right? Ito delivers the food, and then you're both, and he catches you. No, I mean,
Oh, God.
right?
What's up with the music?
Tell me the truth. What happened? Do you really think it's nobody's business? It is my business.
I
If I'm
know.
going to date you, I got to know everything about you.
Yeah, but you're not going to date me. You're very happily married, and we all
No,
know this.
I am not.
You're not.
No, I'm not. I'm looking to have a what do they call that? Rendezvous?
A rendezvous.
That's right.
Oh, God. Are you quoting from someone we know?
So you're the kind of girl that can keep quiet about stuff. You're a
Yes.
prosecutor. You know what I mean.
That's right.
I can meet you. We can have a couple of good times together.
That's
and
right.
then that's that.
All
and
under
you won't
wraps.
squeal. I like that you don't squeal. You won't even tell on Chris.
All you have to do is retain her. She can't.
That's right. The attorney-client thing works here,
Like Chris, I'm horny for white women. So wait a second. Oh, please, don't even go there.
Oh.
That's right.
Oh.
Wham bam, thank you, counselor. So wait a second. Who's this young stud you're dating now? Some rock guy or something?
Blues.
A blues
singer
guy.
and harmonica player.
Young guy?
Mitch Kashmar. Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
And
Well,
you're-
I didn't mean to do that. I swear.
How do we know he's
didn't
not after
how
your
old he
money?
was. You never know
You
that.
don't know.
You don't. You just
I wouldn't
never
be
know.
after your money.
You wouldn't?
No.
Yeah,
You
got
know
enough of your
what?
I got my own.
I
That's
say
right.
enjoy yourself.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what you
Yeah.
do. And
These young
keep it
punks,
away
though.
from the money.
You gotta
These
live.
young punks.
You gotta, I swear to God, something. I do not have a thing for younger men. I
Right.
just want you to know that. But
Really?
Yeah. No, I do not.
Where'd you meet this guy?
He was a friend of my best friend's husband's friend.
Right.
Right? Did that make sense?
Your best friend's husband's friend.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's going, hey, I can get Marcia Clark.
Well, no, it wasn't
So you
like
gotta
that
be
at all.
aware of that, yeah.
Yeah, no, you really do. He's
Right.
not like that at all. Not in the least. In fact, the fact of my, being famous and all that stuff was a real turnoff to him. And it took a
Oh,
while.
yeah, that's what you say to girls.
Yeah, no.
Him and Yoko. You know Yoko used to say that? Oh,
Yoko?
John Lennon, I hate it. I didn't know you were famous.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm
Did she-
telling
did
you.
she say that?
Of course.
No, actually, we wouldn't even go out in public for the first month we were dating because it was such
Really?
a drag. Yeah, really.
I can't believe that, huh?
Yeah, but we've been together now for about a year and a half, so I think I'd know by now. If he
Sick
was
of him
like
already?
that. No.
No?
No.
He's not that good in the sack. Can't be.
How do you know,
Who knows?
Howard?
I don't
You
know.
always claim to
You
have
don't look
this
that happy.
knowledge.
You don't look that happy.
You know, if she had been with Chris Darden,
how
would she
would I
be with
look?
this guy now?
What?
If she had been with Chris Darden, would she be with this guy now?
There you go.
They say if you go black, you never go back.
That's
No,
right.
I don't buy that.
That's what they say. That's what I hear.
Chris Darden's not like a regular black
Oh,
guy.
he's not,
No,
huh?
they mean a street black guy.
I see.
All right?
Okay.
Poor Chris. Look. He's got a woman. She's
Yeah.
beautiful, and all that.
White
stuff.
woman, black woman?
Black.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. And I think that she's probably sick of hearing this.
Yes.
And I know that my boyfriend's sick of hearing this.
Are you allowed to see Chris as on a friend basis?
Sure, of course.
And she allows that?
Yeah.
Knowing that
She
the two,
who?
the new girlfriend.
Oh yeah, no, she's very cool.
Really? I'd be a
She's
little jealous.
Very, very cool. No, she has nothing to be jealous of. She's gorgeous.
Is that right?
Yes.
Hmm,
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, listen, I'm giving the high sign that you got to go, but I've got tons of questions for you, but unfortunately, this is way too short an interview.
I know.
It is. It really is.
But you do reveal a lot about your personal life. I was shocked to read that at 17 you had a horrible tragedy. You were raped at 17
Yeah.
on a Jewish youth group trip.
Yeah.
You're Jewish?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's right, because Clark's your
Clark
married name.
is
Right,
a
that's
Jewish
right.
name.
You married Goyim?
Clark isn't. You didn't know. Short for Clarkowitz.
You married a Goy?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know you were Jewish. Were you like Marcia Schwartz or something?
Clarks.
Klex?
Klex.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Klex?
Yeah, which is a Dutch or German name, one of those. You know, we're from everywhere, Howard. You know that.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't really know. So,
Being Italian.
Being Italian,
I'm
like
Italian
you are,
mostly.
right?
I have a little bit of Jewish in me, but
He's in denial. You know.
This was like one of the campers. No, it was like some guy or something.
It was a resort that we were at. It was a youth group that was on tour, and we went to a resort, and there were a couple of waiters. It was one of the waiters.
Oh, really? And did they throw him in jail?
No, I never reported it.
You didn't? Why?
Well, I mean, I think it was the typical victim syndrome. I blamed myself for being so stupid and naive, and I was ashamed, and I was
because you had invited
humiliated.
him in and stuff like that?
No, he invited me in. I feel like a big brother to you. I'll take care of you. I'll just play music, and I believed him, and and the next thing I knew, he, threw me down.
Wow.
So it was really pretty horrible. So I blamed myself, and I felt so humiliated, and all that I just really couldn't report it, and I felt guilty about it, like somehow I'd brought it on myself. You
Right.
know? I later found out that a lot of victims feel that way, which is why I wrote about it in the book. I wanted women to know, you are not the criminal. He is. Report the crime. You may not be able to control what a jury does, but you can at least be proud of yourself and hold your head up by going forward and doing the right thing,
That's right.
which I didn't do, and I'll never stop regretting.
Now, what about the law? Are you out of it?
No, hopefully not. I got to say, I don't think I could ever defend. But the thought of never going back to prosecute a case again is really too depressing. I mean, even during the Simpson trial, I would fantasize about trying a normal case again where there were no cameras. So in a few years, if all of this dies down enough, I would go back.
Would you?
Yeah.
You think that Frank Gifford thing, is that illegal to go tape a guy in his hotel room? It's legal, isn't it?
It can be. It really depends on the circumstances. I don't know enough about it to give you a real, a genuine, a good legal opinion.
Right.
But if it isn't legal, then nobody's ever going to get those tapes. If it is legal...
Any truth to the rumor you will prosecute Marv Albert for biting that woman on the back in the next time?
Have you ever had to ask for pubic hair samples?
Have you ever asked for pubic hair samples? I would like to give you a few, if I may.
We have to have them professionally taken.
Yes, absolutely.
Howard,
Do you have theories on who killed John Bonet? That's another high-profile case.
Yeah, that's a fascinating case. I wish I knew more about that. I've been asking some friends of mine to find out. I'm just curious to know all the facts of the case, and I've been hearing some depressing things about that, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
That they may not be able to bring it to prosecution. Oh,
that'd be weird.
Like,
what a tragedy that would be. Oh,
What are you getting the high sign, Baba Booey? All right. Marcia Clark wrote the book, without a doubt. We didn't learn if she made love to Chris Darden, but take it from me, she did. Something went on in there,
In your dreams, she did.
None of my dreams. I got it. In fact, I'm going to have to take
you'll never know from her, so you'll just have to fantasize about it.
I'm going to have a pubic hair sample before you leave because I'm going to be investigating that. Also, Marcia Clark will, by the way, I just want to go on record as saying, did a wonderful job with the O.J. case. She's a great attorney. She'll be signing books today at Waterstones in Boston on Newberry Street at 4 p.m. and at Sam's Club in Plano, Texas on Friday at 5 p.m. And at Club, you'll be signing books. And probably a lot of guys will come down there trying to get dates, right? It's not like you're not dating. I mean, she's got a boyfriend.
Now's the time to take numbers.
Yeah.
Is it? Now's the time.
And the book is called Without a Doubt by Marcia Clark. Check it out. And a little sexy picture on the front. That's cute.
You like that?
Yeah. You have a nice body on you. What are you, a dancer or something, I read?
Used to be.
Yeah, you got a little dancing body. I'd like to take you dancing.
Oh, like you can dance.
Oh, I'm a good dancer. No, cha-cha, basically.
Oh, yeah, sure. Ballroom.
Ballroom and cha-cha. Mostly.
Ballroom dancing.
All right,
we'll do the waltz. Yeah, right. I can see that now.
It's called Without a Doubt, Marcia Clark. All right, and we'll be back after blah, 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 blah.
We'll be back with the Howard Stern Show in a moment.